Beijing announcing retaliatory tariffs of 25% on crucial American exports, including soybeans, airplanes, and cars. The tariffs cover 106 U.S. products. They affect $50 billion worth of imports. The concern over a trade war obviously rocking Wall Street. Futures indicating the market will open down 500 points at the start of trading this morning. And we are seeing across-the-board declines on some of these companies that are right in the crosshairs of those tariffs. President Trump weighed in on this escalating trade tension just yesterday.
We have a problem with China. They've created a trade deficit, and I really blame our representatives and, frankly, our preceding presidents for this. They have a trade deficit of $500 billion a year. It's not something we can live with. So we'll be working with China. We'll be negotiating with China. Again, our relationship is very good with China, and we intend to keep it that way. But we have to do something to seriously relieve that trade deficit.
And I should point out that these tariffs do not go into effect right away. Joining us to talk more about it is Tennessee Congressman Chuck Fleischmann. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning, Maria. Thank you.
How does your district get impacted by these tariffs?
Well, I live in the great state of Tennessee, which is a state which has benefited from free trade for a long period of time. Having said that, I do commend President Trump for looking at the big picture. The status quo is just unacceptable right now. When we look at our relationship with China, we have the United States and China, the two largest economies in the world, and this trade imbalance is just no longer acceptable. So I think we have to enter into negotiations in good faith and look out for America's interest. Obviously, I am concerned about the agricultural impact on our state and our farmers, and actually across the nation. And we just need to basically sit down, I think, talk through this issue, but get some results.
So you think this is sort of an opening salvo from the Trump administration as a way to open the negotiating talks then? Because Beijing has, the trade office at the White House had until Friday the 6th to come up with their specific list in terms of the products that they were going to tariff. But China beat us to it and came out with its own list saying they're going to impose this 25% tariff. What do you want to see out of these negotiations that are now ensuing as a result of these two threats?
Well, I think you're right. First of all, I think this was a tactical, strategic move on the part of the Chinese to try to one-up us. I don't think anybody's going to one-up President Trump. I think he's got a good grasp of this situation. Having said that, what I want to see is the United States and China, the two largest economies in the world, sit down and work through this. If you look at the tremendous imbalance which is in place, that cannot continue long term. That's not good for the fiscal health and the economic health of the United States. Having said that, we've been in this spiral, this downward spiral, for quite some time, so there's going to be some short-term pain, hopefully for some long-term gain.
All right, let me switch gears because that's not the only worry sign out there. The White House reportedly now mulling a plan to cut spending from the $1.3 trillion omnibus budget bill that the president just signed into law. According to multiple published reports now, House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy is teaming up with the Trump administration to work on this approach. You're a member of the House Committee on Appropriations. Is this the plan?
Well, obviously, this is news to me, but let me say this. We are in the middle of a fiscal year. Our fiscal year for 2018 began in September. We just passed this bill with a tremendous amount of spending that did some very good things for the military, for our veterans, for school safety, for opioid abuse. Obviously, there is some spending in there that the American people did not want. It's going to be a very interesting dynamic to see how and if this money can be spent before the next fiscal year starts, which would be in September of this year. So it's a wait-see approach. It's going to be interesting. But by and large, I've been throughout my district, and folks have told me in East Tennessee that the military needed to be upgraded. We needed to make sure that our men and women who are fighting for our freedoms every day and doing a great job are going to have the funds necessary to complete their missions. We want to make sure that we fight opioid abuse. So there was a lot of good in the bill, but obviously there were some things that some folks did not want in the bill. So it's a wait-see approach. We'll negotiate that. But the most important thing is we're going to be going through this again in September.
Well, you just said that's news to me. So, I mean, let's talk about this whole idea. You still need 60 votes in the Senate. Is this just a PR move to talk about, oh, yeah, now we want to rescind the spending that we just signed into law, or what? I mean, does this have any potential of actually happening? You're not going to get the votes, are you?
I don't think there's a real potential for it happening. As a member of the House Appropriations Committee, we passed all of our 12 appropriations bills last year for fiscal 18. The Senate really didn't get its work done, and that's why we got this bloated omnibus bill. But I will say this, there are obviously some talks about this. We, meaning Congress, are out in our districts these last 2 weeks actually with our constituents. When we get to Washington next week, we'll actually find out whether this is just messaging or if there's any substance to it. But right now, I'm out with the people in my district, my 11 East Tennessee counties, and they are very, very pleased with the direction that this country is going.
Let me ask you, Congressman, there are growing calls this morning for Environmental Protection Agency head Scott Pruitt to resign. The EPA chief facing new scrutiny over a condo rental reportedly linked to a lobbying firm and his frequent first-class travel on airplanes. Should he step down, sir?
Well, let me say this. I think the Trump administration has set the highest standards for cabinet officials. We've seen other cabinet officials before have to resign or asked to resign or were terminated because of any appearance of impropriety whatsoever. And I think that's important because what it does, it restores the American people's faith in their elected leaders and in their cabinet officials and the like. It's so, so important that someone in that position really be above reproach. So obviously we're going to have to see where the facts are. The president is going to have to be very pleased. He has the right to keep his team strong, unified, and I think he's doing a good job of that.
Congressman, let me ask you, do you worry at all that this market seems to be sending a different message than the calm and practical comments you're making this morning? Market's down 500 points. Does that concern you?
Well, anytime the market goes down, there's a concern. But the gentleman who spoke earlier on your show, I think, hit it right on the head. Markets are volatile by their nature, and markets prefer stability, obviously. And when we have good indicators, unemployment is low, credit is flowing, we're not seeing much inflation. So the basics in our economy, there's tremendous consumer confidence, are good. Now, when you have a situation like we do with China, and with other trade issues where there's some perceived concerns, there's going to be a reaction. Whether that reaction is short-term, and I hope it is, just a small correction, I hope it will be. But long-term, I think the American people are very strong on their economy. They're strong on the way that this country is going. There's a renewed sense of optimism out there. But once again, we want to have stability in markets. There's always going to be some volatility. I just think that's part of a stock market.
All right, Congressman, good to have you on the program this morning. Thanks very much, sir. Congressman Chuck Fleischmann joining us there.